This is the Mickey Miles and More podcast, your one-stop for information on Disney races, Disney vacations, Disney theme parks, and more. Now, here are your hosts for the Mickey Miles and More podcast, Michelle Scribner-McLean, Chris Eliopoulos, and Mike Scopa.
Welcome home, Milers, and welcome back to another episode of Mickey Miles and More, a podcast where three friends plus one talk about the Disney parks, the Disney races, and whatever else comes up. I'm Chris Eliopoulos, and with me, as always, is Dr. Michelle Scribner-McLean. Michelle, how's your papyrus doing?
My papyrus? It's doing okay. I just graded about 10,000 papers, and the papyrus is all dry, so now I can pass it back to the little students.
It'll be rock drop in no time.
Yes, it will be.
Also
hey,
with us.
Let's tease Mike.
Yeah, it's tease Mike Day. The Dean of Disney, Mike Scopa. Hi, Dean.
Greetings from the pyramid, and the Sphinx says, "How you doing?
How you doing?" So in the past 4 episodes, we've done shows where we are listed as the Magic Squad, where we are enlisted by Disney to go through the parks, restaurants, hotels, Disney Springs, wherever, to plus up the place to bring back the magic to Disney. And since my ideas have been falling on deaf ears, Disney has decided to recruit a new person for our squad. Everyone welcome from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, Beci Mahnken. Hi, Becky.
I love being a plus one. That always makes me so happy.
Except at weddings, right? I hate going with that. Weddings,
yeah, that is kind of awkward, isn't it?
So it's being a plus, you don't know anybody, and then you have to
Then +2, I guess.
Well, this is true. I'd rather be the plus one than the +4, like the fourth person thought about or something. I'm going to get rid of the list.
Yeah, right? Well, so we've done in the past, we did a general overview. We've done the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and today we're going to sort of mash up the Animal Kingdom, Disney Springs, and the hotels. Like I said before we went on, that I have barely any ideas left, so I'm going to leave this to Mike, who's probably written the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution on papyrus.
Okay.
You've invented something new, is what we're saying, right?
So why don't we start off with our Magic Mike and tell us what you would change at the Animal Kingdom, Magic Mike.
Well, if you guys remember, when the Magic Kingdom first opened, the icon that was a symbol that they used for the Animal Kingdom had in it a mythical creature. However, when
checking off my list. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I think that one of the things that I think would make the Animal Kingdom more magical would be if they had carved out, or if they could carve out an area, maybe with Dino Land being just cleared out, and maybe we should have something like a real area that focuses on either mythical creatures or maybe some dinosaurs. I really think it would be nice. Obviously, Avatar has with it some creatures and stuff, but I just think that it's something that they missed the boat on, and it's interesting how they changed the icon. I believe the icon for the Animal Kingdom now is the Tree of Life. So I just think that would be really interesting, and I guess they have sort of started doing that with Avatar, but I really think that that's needed.
That was something that was on the drawing board many, many, many moons ago, and I was really excited about that being a possibility because there's so many directions you can go with it. And okay, I think you guys know I am not a fan of dinosaur. So I mean, that whole area, if they could have turned dinosaur into unicorns, or let's say fluffy panda world, something that is totally not big, huge dinosaurs that are going to eat your head. That would have made me really happy. Okay, I'll keep it to unicorns. So, because that's the mythical creature. But anyway, there are so many directions that they could have gone with story in that whole mythical creatures universe. And I'm with you, Mike. I would have loved to have seen them go down that path and tell those stories.
Well, now that I've scratched off 3 of my ideas off my list, Michelle, why don't you take over and give us some?
I did scratch off that one too. Just to catch Becky up. I know she listens all the time, but we did start to talk about this last week and agreed that fixing the Yeti would be one thing that would be on the list. But my next thing, it's actually two. I'm going to put them together. And this is sort of thinking about my museum experience. I would love for there to be more programs. And I'm going to talk about two categories. Number one would be allow people, not just kids, allow people to be zookeepers for a day and learn what it's like to take care of the animals. I don't know if you guys saw that Animal Kingdom series that was on Disney Plus, where they followed the veterinarians and the vet techs around. I thought that was awesome. But they're in museums with animals, they have volunteer programs where kids can come and work with the animals and do all sorts of things. So I think that would be fun. But also I think because it's an educational setting, it would be really nice to have free or low cost visits from the Animal Kingdom staff to go out to local schools and do educational programs, conservation programs. If they have a ton of money, they could give back to the community. And we know from the past 2.5 years that there's a need for science literacy. So I think that would be a really nice.
Are you
thing
getting
to
political, Michelle?
No, I'm being a
How
science
dare you.
teacher. All of my science teacher friends are depressed. So
No,
anyway.
I love those ideas. I love them. And I think also reaching out to the community is also great benefit to Disney proper and getting people into the parks and having kids come home. And you could even give them like a free pass. The kid gets a free pass to the park if the parents bring them. So it's a great way to bring in
Teachers
more
have no
guests.
money for science. It would be so awesome to say, hey, we have somebody coming out who's going to talk about.
The schools in the Orlando area would be happy. I don't know if they'd be sending them much further away, but.
Oh, yeah. There's
definitely
plenty of
a fun idea.
schools.
But all right,
Yes.
Becky, you're on the.
Becky,
No, it's
okay,
Becky's
Becky.
turn. I'm being
right.
the
Well-
good host.
Well, I'm just going to follow up really quick with Michelle. You're not wrong. Bringing some more science and education, because it certainly is missing and lacking in our public school systems. Things that they could do along those lines. If you're going on vacation, make it a fun time, but yet educational, which is some of the things that they started to do with Epcot for the longest time. So to bring that
that's
in Animal
exactly what I
Kingdom
was
would be
thinking.
amazing.
Yeah.
And we know it's not a zoo, but it is so amazing. I mean, just the positive impact that the show has had. I watch it and I get really excited about seeing the animals and seeing the zookeepers and how they're handled. And I love your zookeeper for a day idea.
Yeah, I actually forgot to say this, and I'm just going to jump in for a second, Becky, to say that I started as a volunteer at the Museum of Science in Boston, working with animals, and now I'm a STEM professor. So
That's
there is a
amazing.
pathway, and I'm not the only one who did that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And kids right now kind of need those options and those pathways. So if Disney can bring it to the table, I think we all win. Something for me that I love, and I know Disney actually tried this a little bit, but they didn't exactly do it in the best way. But the one thing about Animal Kingdom is it's so beautiful at night. And some of the best times that I've had there were the most relaxing, the most peaceful are after the park is closed and we've done events in the park afterwards, and walking around there in the with all the lighting and the sounds, and it's just an amazing feeling to be there in the dark. And they did try to do something a little bit on the After Dark arena, but it didn't quite pan out the way they wanted it to. But I would like to see them go back to the drawing board and come up with a way so that guests can experience that park after the sun goes down, because it really is kind of magical.
A great idea. Yeah.
I know Mike has always been saying that he'd like to see more Animal Kingdom at night stuff. So
I went on Expedition Everest years ago. I think you were there at night. So fun to
Right?
be able to look out when it's going up the hill, to be able to look out
Like
and
the
see all the
Tower of
lights.
Terror at night too. Yeah.
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 It's a great idea.
Speaking of which, my biggest magical idea for the Animal Kingdom park is to stop that damn hard stop at the end of Expedition Everest. When you're just pulling into the gate and they slam on the brakes and your tonsils go flying into the person in front of you.
And your eyeballs.
Yeah, it's not a fun moment. So that would okay. That's
I have to plant my feet because I know
I brace. I know it's coming.
I bet Chris could draw a nice.
Yeah, I just popping out and keep going. Yeah, it's definitely a cartoon thing. But unlike most of you people who hate dinosaurs, I would love to see more interactive dinosaur stuff. Audio animatronic, they have all that greenery in the background. You could have these, those big giant whatever that I want to call them brontosaurus. I don't even know. Apatosaurus. They have the back again. I don't care. Whatever. Hanging out over. Or do you remember they used to have a dinosaur show that went around the country to different arenas, and people dress up in those like Velociraptor costumes and they run around. I think get rid of the kitschy stuff and let's get real with the dinosaur stuff. Kids, little boys especially, I'm sure, but a lot of girls love dinosaurs, and having real stuff floating around, and not the kind that just pop out and scare you, but just interactive stuff would.
Yeah, I mean, we have Star Wars days. Why can't we have dinosaur days?
I'd love that.
I'm going anywhere that's not dinosaur days.
Come on.
I think that would be fun.
Not to scare you.
Jesus out of me.
Yeah, but
I don't know why.
They purposely do it. They try to scare you. But I think if dinosaurs are walking around, they're a lot more. My kids loved that show when we went to go see it. They forced me to go like an hour drive away to a stadium or whatever to see them, and they were like in heaven. I think I still have video from that when they were like 5 years old.
They forced you. Oh, come on.
Hey, man, they love the stuff. So, all right, Mike, let's number 2 on your list of 1,000 ideas.
Well, Chris, along the line of that dinosaur stuff, well, didn't they have a wireless or a dinosaur audio animatron that walked around?
I thought they had like a palm tree. Didn't they have a palm tree or something like that going?
Well, they had a dinosaur.
They did. They had one of the dinosaurs that was pulling a cart.
Yeah.
And because I remember seeing it in Imagineering.
Right.
And the battery was in the cart, I guess. So sometimes when I think about things that I'd like to see, I wonder how practical they are, and I wonder how feasible they are. But one of the things that I've always thought about, and I don't know if the three of you have ever ridden the boat at Animal Kingdom, but I actually got on that boat and took a ride on it. And when I was on that boat, I was thinking, this would be a great attraction similar to the Jungle Cruise, where you could go through various places on Earth where certain animals inhabit those areas, and you could show it on the side, sort of like the Jungle Cruise, but have audio animatrons. And then you could also do the dinosaur thing. You can go to Africa, you can go to Asia, you can go to Southeast Asia, South America, the North Pole, whatever. I think they missed the boat. I think that would have been a very, I think that would have been a very interesting, and as Becky and Michelle had pointed out, sort of educational too. Edutainment again. I don't think it's practical now because obviously that theme park is established, but you never know with these guys. But I think that would have been a great addition to that theme park.
I love it. I'd love a boat ride. Michelle, what do you got next?
Oh, I think this crowd is going to love this suggestion.
Here we go.
I love the Nomad Lounge. I would like it to be bigger, and I would like it maybe to be replicated in different parts of the park, where you could just sit down and have a cheese plate and have a fun country-related beverage, country-themed beverage. And I just think it's one of those places that it's just like, this is so nice. The setting's so nice. It's so hot. Let's just sit down and have a cheese plate. But it's hard to get in there now because at the beginning, when Pandora was still under construction, it was sort of, nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
But now I would love to see that type of thing replicated all over Animal Kingdom. A few more in other places.
So like a nomad, it'll wander around the parks.
Right. And I'm gonna tack on another one since this is food.
Yeah.
And I've said this consistently. Some more pop-up food carts, like food and wine around Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I mean, they have these great themed countries already. Why not have some African food carts, some Asian food carts? I think there's not a lot of room, but I think it would really work out well, and it would be nice for people to be able to try out some new things. And again, for the chefs to be able to maybe pilot some different dishes that may end up in restaurants.
I love it. Yeah, I'd love to try some more different foods from around the globe. My family wouldn't, but I can leave them back at the hotel.
This will be good for you then, because you could just try one or two
things.
Yeah, like a
perfect.
little tapas.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Becky, what you got?
Well, she stole my idea.
This happens on every show. We all steal each other's ideas.
I was going to say, because as I wrote it, is Animal Kingdom gets the bad reputation of being the place that's so hot because it doesn't have places that you can go and just sit for a little while and cool off in the air conditioning and have an adult beverage if you want. So I'm just going to expand on what she already said. And that's what they really need, is to have a nomad lounge in each of the different sections in each of the different countries, because then you do get that ability to be immersed in the story of each culture by tasting their food and drinking their drinks. But it's, again, just a thing that people don't like about Animal Kingdom is you go over there, you've got only a couple places that you can get out of the heat without being in a huge crowd, because there's just not enough places to do that. So I think it would be a little bit better if they had more places that people could escape the heat, enjoy themselves, and let the countries tell their stories.
Yep, I love it.
I think more and more people are going without kids too.
Oh yeah.
Or they're maybe the family's splitting up and half of them go one place, half of them go another.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, no, I love that idea. I was thinking on the other end, I wanted to see bring back the Yeti race of some sort. Even if it's not a 5K, another kind of Yeti race. And I think they should really lean in. I mean, I know the Yeti isn't working, but they should really lean into the character of the Yeti. Like, I know they have a cute little design character of the Yeti. I'd love to see them sort of push that forward more and make it sort of the icon of, again, speaking about the mystical or magical beasts or whatever they were calling them, play into that a little bit more. Make it a little bit more magical. Have, a costume figure walking around as a Yeti. I mean, just something.
You're right, because
that poor person would die out there.
I was going to say they would need an air-conditioned costume to make that work, but
I think that's one of the best, most immersive queue lines, because they made it into, the idea that you're going on a sort of a Yeti expedition, obviously, but with they have books in there and they have footprints, and so really lean into it a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's really. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say that's a really good point, because if you look at some of the attractions that have come recently, looking at Cosmic Rewind, looking at some of the other ones that have come up recently after Pandora, they're doing a much better job of telling the story through the queue line. So maybe it'd be interesting for them to kind of go back to some of the attractions they have now and update some of those queue lines to be more immersive, more storytelling, more
air conditioned.
More air conditioned or misted, to help elevate that experience.
You're right, because if you look at California Adventures, Guardians of the Galaxy queue line, that's amazing, and that is really amazing. So it'd be cool.
And the Indiana Jones queue line.
Yeah, because if you're going to stand there for an hour or two, you might as well get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
3.
Plus it up, interactive.
3.
Yeah, great. All right, Mike. Why don't we do one last full round? Because we got to still get over to Disney Springs and do some hotels. So give me a few if you got a few.
You guys may have remembered they used to have a parade in Animal Kingdom, and there was a promenade where I know that Chris, Michelle, and I have run around in Animal Kingdom. So there is an area that is built for parades. It doesn't have to be a parade with huge floats, but still a parade. So it would be nice if they had a parade that focused on Disney animals in animation or things like that. For years, the animated films which focused on animals usually did better than all the other films. So you could put, from Nana and Peter Pan to Timon and Pumbaa and that mythical creature in Coco. You've got Abu from Aladdin. You've got, like I said, Nemo. You've got Lady and the Tramp. You've got Lion King. Maybe even Bolt, God forbid. And maybe you have Groot. I am Groot as the Grand Marshal. But some kind of a nice little parade, I think, would really be good. Sorry, Michelle.
I know it's all we've done is scratch off our ideas. So.
Are you gonna give more, Mike?
Yeah, give a couple more, because you guys have a bunch of that. I mean, do you want me to just give my last one that I'm even just gonna have?
So I'm going to piggyback on Becky's suggestion a few minutes ago about more nighttime things. And one of the things, Becky, that I thought would be good, if you remember I think it would be nice if they had over the water area that they have been doing kitetails. I'm not sure what's happening with kitetails. But wouldn't it be nice if they had a little drone show over there, over that waterway at night? I know they have to be very careful at night. They don't want to disturb the animals. They want to be quiet. But I think a drone show would be nice over that waterway.
I love it.
Or just to
I
utilize
had that too.
Did
Yeah,
you have that
I
too?
have fix for once for all, fix that moat show.
Please.
I was thinking, like, there's so much LED technology, and we have smart lights all through this house. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
So why not? The other ones that I have are fix and update the Lion King, bring back the Tumble Monkeys. I think they're coming back, but
I heard they're limiting shows now. They're cutting back on the amount of shows per day.
oh really? I just think that was just I don't know. That was a disappointment to see that. And the only other one I had was I have downloaded from YouTube some of the music of Africa, but I think there needs to be some increase of music in the countries. I don't really hear the music very much. Performers, but also just the background music. I just, like, when I go to Epcot, I know when I walk into Epcot that I'm in Epcot. It's even though they changed the music in the different countries, I don't really pay attention to the music in Animal Kingdom. I don't think it's prominent. So that would be another suggestion, Chris.
Oh no, it's Becky. Any last ones?
Becky,
back?
sorry, Becky.
Wow.
If you're out, that's fine.
I am.
Believe me,
I'm
'cause
out on Animal Kingdom at this point.
I know. Michael fill in like the next 500, but I just had two last ones. Just sort of, I touched on it before, but I think we should have some more character meet and greets out in front of the park or something like that.
Yeah.
Just sort of get people in the mood that it is a Disney park. And piggybacking on Michelle's idea of having food kiosks, I'd love to see more people from global locations there to share their cultures. I know we sort of had that in Epcot in the lands, but I feel like we as Americans, especially as I get political, need to start learning about other cultures and other people. And I think this is the perfect place to do it. Like, you want to learn about, people in Asia and Africa. I think we're woefully ignorant when it comes to that stuff. And this is a perfect location to have them and sort of open up the eyes a little, edutainment, as Mike likes to say. So, Mike, any last ones for the Animal Kingdom before we move on to Disney Springs?
The last one I have, and I really think that the Animal Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park, is the best candidate to have early morning hours, 7 days a week. I think that we all recognize that it's very difficult, again, to have that park open too late at night. So why not have early morning hours? I think that would be the best time, especially to go on Kilimanjaro safaris to see the animals, because they're waking up, they're hungry, they're being fed. So I would like to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Especially because they're all gone by midday. They're too hot to come out in Kilimanjaro. So the next one we're going to go to is Disney Springs, which is a weird one because it's not technically a park, and people who are not guests can still go there. So it's not like a destination for your vacation. But Mike, do you have any ideas how you can plus this up, make it a little bit more magical for anybody that's showing up?
So they're already doing this. One of the things is that I would have loved to have seen them bring back Disney Quest or have some kind of special
scribble,
something like that. They have been doing that. Actually, it's going to be opening soon if they haven't opened it already. If you guys know where the NBA Experience is, they are transitioning that. That was a big flop. They're transitioning that to some kind of an interactive Star Wars experience. So I think that we need more of that down there, more themed things. Along the line of that would be something similar to what we saw with Gideon's Bakery. It's kind of interesting. It's almost like a Harry Potter thing. I think that some specially themed eateries down there, you've got T-Rex, you've got that kind of stuff. I think that would also make Disney Springs a little bit more fun than just a place to shop and eat.
Michelle?
I don't know why I keep on getting onto this. I have the same suggestion every time we talk about something, but I would love to see little tapas in front of every single restaurant. so that you could try some stuff out and just walk around with. I know some of them you can buy little things, like Wine Bar George. There's a little place, and I think there's a little place for.
Have you had lunch
Wolfgang
today, Michelle? 'Cause
No,
you seem to be hungry.
no, I'm not hungry. Actually, I had a big breakfast. But I think, Chris, you mentioned that people don't go out of their comfort zone. It's a way for people to sort of say, you know what? What's that restaurant across from, right near Cirque du Soleil, right next to Hard Rock Cafe?
House of Blues?
No, and next to House of Blues, that new one,
Oh,
the Spanish one. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Haleo?
Oh yeah, Haleo. So
Oh, yeah.
like to have a little tapas place in front of that, and in front of some of these other places, a little, maybe even in front of the boathouse, you can get little samples without committing to sitting down and eating, and say, that's a place I want to go back. I want them to sell those fried olives out front from what's that? I can't remember that. I'm
Haleo.
losing.
Haleo?
No, it's not in front of
Wolfgang
Haleo.
Puck?
No, the Italian restaurant, the fried olives.
Oh, I know which one.
Anyway.
Becky's gonna get it. Becky's gonna get it.
Hmm?
No.
Or drinks or whatever. So
Becky doesn't
anyway,
remember?
more little stands.
Well, I think it'd be great just to get people to try and maybe
Yeah.
come in. Like most people, like you said. I mean, on the boardwalk, there's that Italian restaurant that was put in because nobody wanted to try Greek food or anything kind of out of their comfort zone. So you get, chicken parmesan again, like it's like you get everywhere else. And just the idea that somebody could sample something would
Mhm.
make it better. So, our newest Magic Squad member, Becky, do you have any ideas to help brighten up
Disney Springs is a tough one.
It is.
I would say go back to. It's kind of like what you guys were already talking about for Animal Kingdom. That whole water area has such an amazing opportunity for entertainment. And during Christmas one year, they did a drone show
That was awesome.
over
Yeah.
the water. And I would love to see something like that come back. Because it did pull people there. You were in awe of these shapes and things happening above you. And I know why they can't do it over crowds, which is why they needed to keep it over water. But I would love for them to focus more on that overall entertainment that they could do at Disney Springs. So I know that they brought the DJ in every once in a while. They do have some concerts there, but there's more that they could do. And I think if they brought that drone show or something else and utilizing that space over the water, it'd be a great idea.
Love it. Obviously, we all just scratched that off our list as well. So.
No, that
Well,
I
it's
didn't
a
have that.
good
That's
idea when we
great
all
idea.
have it. So it's
Yeah.
a good thing. So I tend to be thinking practical for the stores and for Disney as a whole. I would love to see them do sort of like a Kim Possible or a card game like they used to have at the Magic Kingdom and Epcot, where you get a device, kids get device, they can go around. I think even some of the stores could sponsor it, so you have something that goes off in front of a store, and then people go over there and they go, "Hey, let's go to the store while we're here. Let's see what's inside." It's a great way to get people around and to visit places they maybe wouldn't normally visit, and gives some kind of fun for the little kids who are bored when mom and dad want to go shopping. So I don't know if you like the idea, but that's my idea.
Like it.
Nobody cares.
I,
All right,
I
Mike.
want to love it. I don't want to list it.
No one cares. All right, Mike, go ahead.
So I also had the drone thing, but I also thought that it would be that waterway may also be a candidate for something like a small water pageant show like they do in the Magic Kingdom at night. One of the things that I'm not crazy about, and I know Michelle was also not crazy about, is that they tore down the AMC theaters. So they're obviously not going to replace it with another theater, but I think it would be nice if they replaced it with a very nice restaurant similar to what you see on Disney cruise ships, Artist's Palette. I think that would be a nice little magical place to go. So I would suggest that.
I like that idea. Although I wrote Bring Back the Theater. I love that theater.
Well, if it's gone, it's not coming back unless they're going to
Wait,
build a
what-
brand new.
What theater did they tear
They
down?
tore down
The
AMC.
AMC theater,
The dining one,
Yeah,
all of them.
it's all
Uh-huh.
done.
the one that's right by the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Really?
Was just there.
Really? We saw pictures. It's
It's
Instead
the
of-
other side. I think they tore down the thing on the other side. We just saw Doctor Strange there.
Oh,
I
good.
mean, the one near the escalator near the orange garage. Becky, is that the part that they took down?
Maybe they only took down half of it.
I honestly, at this point, am second guessing myself, but we were just in the theaters for Doctor Strange. So
We saw pictures of it torn down.
huh, I'm Googling now.
Oh, yes.
Unless
Wow.
I was like,
All right.
maybe I was in the multiverse and it was in a
It's
different.
true.
Oh, there you go.
It's true.
Ooh.
All right. While she's figuring that out. Oh, I would love that if that was still there. This is just a operational thing, but
I hope we're wrong.
I
Becky's
love
right.
that they're being more careful with security, but it is a pain to walk from one end of the garage to the other end could they do it like on both sides or maybe have 3 of them so that there are secure ways for people to get in and out? Because I know, Mike, with your knee, it's always a problem too. We like to park in one place and then you have to walk. And then we end up, down near Cirque du Soleil and you gotta, who knows where the car is at that point because you want to park close to
Yes,
the.
you gotta
So
decide if
Chris,
you're
I
gonna
don't know
walk
if you know
through.
what we're talking about because you don't really
I
park
don't-
in the
I
garage,
don't.
but they added security, which
Sure.
is important. The walk through security, but it's only at one end. It's only at the end where Planet Hollywood is. So
Right.
if you're parked down the other end, at least in the orange garage, you have to walk all the way, the whole length of the garage to have them check your bags and everything. So
Man,
it's
no fun.
And here's the hypocrisy: if you go in, the entrance near Splitsville, you can walk in. You're not going. You can get into the garage and you can have all kinds of stuff. You can blow it up or whatever, but you can't leave. I'm just saying, there's no security getting into
but
the
you're
garage.
already in a secure area. You already will have been checked.
Oh, because you're already in. Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Mhm.
Add
Oh,
that to
we're not bounding 1,000 here today.
I think I know what you were talking about because the AMC theaters in Disney Springs are still there. It's the one in downtown Disney and Disneyland that was demolished because they're making room for the new hotel and all of the improvements that are happening at Disneyland.
You
Well, that
can't
made
just
my
read you
day.
can't read the headline, Michelle. You have to read the article.
Touche.
I feel better.
No, we saw it in several places. We both.
Well,
I
we
wanna
didn't
drag
see
Mike
see it
into
on a certain website that I go to.
Yeah.
I kind of question that. 'Cause
Right.
Like the one I
Steve
just posted in the chat. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
would've- No, not that
Looks
one.
good.
No,
I'm
there's
happy.
another one.
I love that theater.
Well, let me chime in with one while we figure this all out. But the other one is I would bring a meet and greet section to Disney Springs for the kids, like more of a, Mickey and Minnie, like a dedicated area for them as a destination for kids while you're there. I think a lot of the part of the problem with Disney Springs is adults love it, and when they bring kids get bored, and adding the magic back for them, for the kids, makes it a destination they want to be in. So as a Magic Squad member, that's my goal. So Mike, what's up?
When Disney Quest was there at the top of Disney Quest, there was a Cheesecake Factory. I think Cheesecake Factory would do well in Disney Springs.
But it's everywhere. Don't you want something that's different?
Some people want familiar, as we said.
Yeah. I mean, we used to have a Rainforest Cafe in our mall that's just 20 miles away. And I never went to the one at Disney because I could go here. That same mall has a Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd like to do different.
All right, Michelle, what do you got? We got to keep rolling here.
All right. I would love to. I loved Drawn to Me, the Cirque du Soleil show. And I'm not a big Las Vegas fan. We were talking about Las Vegas, but one of the things I like is that there's so many Cirques du Soleil. I would love it if they rotated shows out of Cirque du Soleil every 6 months or something. So it's not the same show for years and years and years. I know it would be nice that, because I would go more often. I'll definitely see that show again. I loved it. Did you see it, Becky?
Yeah, I did on this
Isn't it
last
great?
media tour that we were there. And, I've seen a lot of the Cirque shows. I am one of those people that loves Vegas, but it's only like an hour and a half flight from here. So why not? I liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't something that I was like, oh my gosh, I got to see this again. I love the story behind it and the concept, but I think could have pulled me into the emotion a little bit better than it did, because it just seemed like it was, bam, bam, bam. And I wasn't fully invested, I guess is the way to put it.
It's not as good as the Beatles' Love.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
So I was
shows amazing.
I was definitely comparing it in my brain, because I think I've seen 6 of the other Cirque du Soleil shows. So again, I liked it. It was entertaining. It was, certainly on theme and took you into the story of an Imagineer. But I didn't fully love it. Yeah.
So that proves my point. We should rotate them out. Have the cast go, at a Las Vegas, or, I mean, I know it was made just for Disney because the theme is about drawing.
Can you imagine trying to ask people every 6 months to relearn a whole new, unless you take the whole crew
I'm saying the whole
move
cast
it around,
should travel around like a
oh my God, what a
Broadway
life.
show.
Can you imagine having to live in one place for 6 months and then move into another place and then another place and another
Broadway people do it all the time, right? They're in a traveling show of The Lion King. They go to Boston, they go to Chicago.
They do it for like a period of time and then they're done. But I mean, I guess it's like cruise ship performers, right? I mean, that's sort of a thing, but
you don't have to like all my ideas. But
I love all your ideas.
Respect all my ideas.
I'm just saying. Becky, any other ideas for Disney Springs? Are you tapped?
That one, it's really hard. I was kind of trying to wrap my brain around it. They've, especially lately with the new additions, they've done a good job of adding more variety, which for a while there, they really did kind of need more of a more variety in terms of restaurants and what you could choose. But there's definitely enough there at this point. That I would just kind of pile on to the security thing. I'm with you. I hate that walk. Because all of a sudden you have to walk all the way to the end to walk all the way back to go through the security screening. But praise for that. I do love the new security screening. So you don't have to wait and go through a bag. They've definitely improved upon that area, but I can't think of anything else right off the top of my head.
That's fine. One last thing for me was just sort of, I would love to see them have some sort of greeters or some kind of people at the bus stops when guests arrive. Most likely they're coming from hotels or parks. They're obviously guests. Somebody with stickers to give kids stickers when they arrive, or just something to let you know just that it's not, you're just being, I always feel like with the buses, you're just dropped off and left to fend for yourself and figure out where everything is and what's going on. It'd be nice to have somebody greeting you there, even, a character or two just hanging out, at times, just to sort of make it feel like a Disney location as opposed to just going to the mall. So, Mike, any last ones before we go off to the hotels?
No, I'm done.
I just said one more.
Ooh.
So the last one was more AP perks at the restaurants. I would love for there to be more discounts and more encouragement of using for our annual pass holders at the discounts. Maybe you get a free drink. Maybe you get more of a discount. Maybe you get, I don't know.
No,
maybe the manager comes over and checks on you. I don't know what it is, but but I think APs are special.
Your biggest fans, take care of them. All right, let's head over to the hotels. I wrote nothing down, so I may be other than the idea of, hey, keep those. Well, one thing I will say is it sounds like they're not going to go back to this full-time housekeeping thing, and they're going to kind of skip it every other day. At least it feels like it. Just like Chapek said that he likes the reservation system when nobody else does, but he says it's doing well for them. So I think they should get back to having more people coming to take care of your rooms more often. So
I think they actually will eventually, but right now the staffing shortage is
I totally get
the thing that's in the way. Yeah.
No, I know, but it's interesting. Back like we were talking, and we've talked about it previously, that Bob Paycheck wants to make more money for Disney, and so he loves the idea of the reservation system. Nobody else loves it. Like, I don't know about you, I don't know about your guests, but I sure hated it. I hated trying to guess the system and figuring out what I should book when I want to have dinner at a different park, and will I be able to get in? Are the parks available? I think it's just a money grab. But what happens, just like the planes did with charging for bags, once the gas crisis was over, that price still stuck around. That tag came in, and so they're learning to, they're going to start charging us to go to the bathroom at Disney. You watch. Sorry, there's my tirade for the day. My tirade for the show. So, Mike, let's go. Give me a hotel.
So this is sort of like name dropping. About 10 years ago, I was invited to go to ESPN The Weekend, and I got to do a lot of things, got to talk to a lot of people. One of the hosts for that weekend was Ken Potrock, who is now president of Disneyland. I had the pleasure of talking with him, walking down Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood Studios, and I asked him, I said, have you ever thought about building a resort across from World of Sports? I think he was involved with World of Sports back then. He told me that, if I recall correctly, that they had plans to do that, and then either money got expensive or things like other things came up and pushed that down. But I really think that there is a really opportunity for them to build a sports-oriented resort across from World of Sports, and within that resort you would have restaurants and all kinds of things to hold all the AAU athletes, the cheerleaders, and people like that. Take them away from All Stars, and I think that that would be a great addition to the resort. Again, the only problem is that now we're adding more heads in the beds, which means more heads and more beds means longer queue lines. But I really think that it's something that's needed.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Michelle, what do you got over there?
Oh, so for resorts, I would love to have, this is an interesting one. I don't know. The Beach Club is my home resort for DVC. And one of the things that used to make it special was there was a greeter at the front whose name was Art. Becky, did you know Art?
Absolutely.
Very beloved guy.
The legend.
And I know there are greeters at different resorts. Like there's the person at Port Orleans, French Quarter. But I would love to have sort of somebody who's designated. I think it's a fun cast member job at each of the resorts to be sort of that personality or that ambassador that, Art never, I'm sure never remembered us coming back, but he always made us feel like, oh, he remembers us and we're back again. And how are you? And
somebody just like Davy Crockett at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah. So somebody at each of the different resorts who's a greeter. And I think, with the welcome home, I always love the welcome home. I think it would be nice to have a signature person, and it would be kind of a treat for the cast members to be that person. So.
Yacht Club always has a captain of a ship,
admiral, something.
Admiral, someone
yeah,
waiting
but just
in the
like
front.
the same one or two people to do it. Art was a character, and so
Yeah.
that was my idea. I have a few
definitely
more.
get greeters and sort of somebody, specific to the theme of the hotel, not just a cast member in uniform. But Becky, any ideas? You spend a lot of time in their hotels, so you probably have a billion ideas.
I live in those hotels because I do a huge amount of my work there. And the number one that I know that we probably won't get this because the hotels are full, they're having no problem. And that's what typically happens with Disney. When they're having no problem filling the hotels or filling the parks, they don't feel they need to invest money or invest things to keep people coming because they're already there. But I would love to see an actual real live loyalty program across the Disney resorts that if you are someone like me or like many of us that go several times a year or even just a few times a year, you build up points for recognition. One of my biggest problems with Disney, there was a time I stayed at one resort for 20 weeks in 1 year. And the last time I checked in, the person lovingly looked up at me with a big grin and said, "Is this your first time here?" And you just want to say, dude, really, I almost live here. And while I'm, one of the rare people, because again, it's work for me, it still would be really nice to be recognized with a welcome home. If you are checking in or a welcome back, there are hotels that charge the same amount per night that do wonderful things. Like they know what you like to drink. They know what dry snacks you like, and they have them in the room waiting for you when you check in. But aside of that, and of course that would be just for the deluxe resorts because that's what their competitors are doing. But aside of that, if you had a loyalty program where you spent 15 nights a year in their resorts to get some extra perk or some extra just, appreciation for the fact that you're staying and you're so loyal to that Disney brand and those Disney resorts, and you're happily paying those Disney prices, I don't think it's too much to ask to get a little thing, something extra.
Michelle?
Yeah, and to add on, Becky, actually, it kind of in this whole category, I was thinking the same thing. Like, wouldn't it be nice to have, you're coming back, here's a surprise upgrade. You know, I've never, 0 times had a surprise upgrade. And I've been to Beach Club, not nearly as much as you, but many, many times. So like a surprise gift. They used to, for a while, they were, you'd have chocolates in your room if you were returning and a note from the manager, but some sort of, you know, maybe it's your 10th time there, there's a Mickey plush or something, or maybe a surprise park entry. We want to invite you to come at 7:30 instead of 8 and ride all your favorite rides. So all of those things, it would make me feel more like, oh yeah, they want me here and I'm part of this, even if they're just faking it. They don't care if I'm there or not. It would be nice. It would be nice to have that recognition that we're back again.
Yeah. I would like to see some more. I remember I think it was during the Flower and Garden Festival. They used to do like the ladybugs thing, and they would like little events around the hotels. Like I know at Yacht and Beach, they run movies on the beach at night. I'd love to see them do more things like that in each hotel. I know probably the deluxe, it's almost a given, but I would think even the moderates and the values need a little something to keep the kiddos happy at night, because these days, I don't know, Becky, you have to tell me, it felt like when last time we were there, parks were closing so early, like 9 o'clock, everything was closed. There was nothing to do between 9 and midnight. And for, you know, people with teens or something like that, it gets boring. Like you need something to do. I'd love to see them provide some kind of entertainment or some kind of events at the hotels while people are done with the parks. So.
Yeah, I think at this point it's a lot of the post-COVID stuff where they were staffing and of course trying to close the parks early, etc.
Yeah.
I do see that somewhat changing at this point. When I was just there, they are moving the hours a little bit longer, and they do have the things like the movies on the beach and some of the other, you know, the arcade is always there. But when they do run into these situations, it would be, you know, nice for them to come up with other options for families besides just one movie on the beach. But I think that problem is going to go away slowly but surely as the parks return to their normal hours, especially in the summer.
Yeah, one of the things that I was thinking of that they do at Port Orleans that I'd love to see replicated, really easy to do, the resort 5Ks. Nice, like, you know, you just show up and you run especially around Beach Club and Boardwalk and Yacht Club. Super easy to do a 5K. So a lot of people like it, and it's a nice little thing to get the family moving together, and the cast members are cheering for you, and you don't have to pay a ton of money to do it. I think that would be a really easy thing to add.
Yeah,
myself.
Definitely. Do they still? I know when I first started to go, when we started running, we would ask the hotel if they had like a
running path
thing, and they would kind of give you. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but
yeah, they are. You have to find them. There are little signs that'll tell you where to run at different resorts.
No,
I remember seeing it around Caribbean Beach, few places.
Yeah, Mike, any ideas?
So I'm going to hook up my wagon to Becky's perk wagon, and this is a little bit of, you know, what you were saying, Becky, kind of brings back memories to another podcast I used to do a long time ago. I think this is a perk and also a little bit of a rant. It's to point out some hypocrisy that we're seeing right now. For about 40 years, we never had parking fees at the resorts, and now we have parking fees at the resorts. But we don't have parking fees at the theme parks if we are a DVC or annual pass holder. So why not hold the same perk for us at the resorts? What's the difference? Besides, as you said, Becky, we're their best customers. It should be a reward. We're spending money. If we're there so often, we're spending money. So I think that's a hypocrisy, and I think that needs to go. And while I'm at it, I want to mention a lot of people out there may not know. Well, if you have an annual pass, you may know if you're making park reservations. Annual pass holders are limited to 5 active park reservations at any one time. So if you're planning a long vacation, you have to hope and pray that you're going to be able to make a park reservation within a week of your going. And parks are filled; those reservations are being filled up quite a bit. So here's my suggestion: if you are an annual pass holder and you want to make a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or anything beyond 5 park reservations, then do the same thing as they do for dining reservations. Put it on your credit card. All right, $25 for every day beyond 5. And if I don't go into the park, charge me. If I do go into the park, don't charge me. Why not? That's my perk and rent at the same time.
Right. Well, we're trying to make it magical, not complain about things here. You're the
No,
magic
but that would
squad,
make it
not the magic
But it would make
complainer.
it. But Chris, it would make it magical again if I had the ability to be spontaneous. Spontaneity goes with magic.
Well, agreed. I think that's definitely a big thing. I think we also have to remember that this is a corporation that wants to make as much money as possible,
And they are.
And once they put something into place, it's harder to remove it. So, Becky, any other idea? I'm like, I love all these ideas. I think I'm sort of tapped out in ideas. So,
I
any
have
last
another
ideas?
one.
Yep.
Yeah, I have one that is so simple and something that I loved and adored when I was a kid and checking into Disneyland. They took away, but I think that they could actually add it to Disney World. But it is so silly and it's so simple. But the amenities in the hotel rooms, they used to be themed. They used to have like little Mickey ear tops that you would walk in there and you knew that you were in a Disney resort because your little shampoo bottle had little Mickey ears on it. And it was just that little teeny touch that was the Disney difference that I grew up with. And one of the reasons why I fell in love with the brand because of those little Disney differences. So while I know it helps the planet to have the big bottles of stuff now in the shower that you have to just use and you have no idea what's really in it, I would still love to see some of those little amenities that aren't in the shower. Let's say that I know that they do have like the mouthwash and some of the other things like the lotion that they're not doing in the big bottles. If it just had those little silly Mickey ear tops on it, that would really make me smile when I checked into my room.
Plus, it's a freebie to steal and take home.
Yes.
You can't
and
rip
it
those
makes your
bottles off the
shower at
wall.
home magical. Yeah.
Look, we used to love doing that. You go in, and some of the some of the housekeeping were so wonderful in that you would take some out and you put in your luggage, and if you were a nice guest and you tipped, they would keep putting out more every single day. We came home. I have a picture that is like literally about 30 to 40 bottles of the mini bottles that we brought home from our vacation, and it's funny. It's a free, tchotchke to take home from the parks and make your stay magical. So I loved it. Michelle, any other?
I do have one more. So I think that this is just my opinion. I don't have any data to back it up, but I think that a lot of people miss out on how really cool the resorts are around Christmas time. And I think that the resort should capitalize on the neat activities they do, the decorating around Christmas and the gingerbread houses. So I would love to see them do maybe some holiday storytelling like they do in Epcot, or have some, have like a mini class or behind the scenes with an Imagineer. This is how we decorate. I love watching the Christmas show, like decorating Disney. I've watched it like 6 times. It's still fun, but to go to the warehouse and see how they do it and see how they attach the ornaments, or maybe like in the lobby of the hotel, you can help decorate a tree or something like that. Work with the gingerbread chefs and make your own gingerbread. So I think there could be a lot of really cool activities at the resorts that would bring locals in, people would plan around their calendar to do some of these cool things with kids, and maybe just for adults,
How about
families.
rotating Christmas carol singers?
Yeah, Christmas carol singers. I know that Mike, you and I like to just go around to the different resorts and see the decorations, but I think it would be super easy to add on to that and make it more special.
I love it. Mike, any last ones before we
Nope, I'm kind of done.
Becky, you done?
Yeah, I wish that they. Well, okay, this is
Go ahead, bring it on.
my teeny little rant. One thing that I don't enjoy about staying at a Disney resort is that they still are doing that, and this is crazy to me that they can't do daily housekeeping, but they do have to have a housekeeper come into your room every day, which just to look around and
security
after the Las Vegas incident.
Yep.
But it's a little weird to me because I can stand at the door and say, I'm just out of the shower, come back later. And if you really had something in your room you were trying to hide, you could certainly hide it. I think that it's a little off-putting, especially when you're a female, stay in the room by yourself and you have someone come and bang on the door every day and say, I need to come in your room. And you're like, what? No, I need to come in your room. And they kind of are kind of aggressive about it.
They say they're coming for trash.
Yeah, it's the trash pickup, but it's off-putting to me. It does make the day go unmagically when you're trying to work or trying to shower or trying to do something. So I'm hoping that goes away. And a lot of things that we have been kind of ranting about, I really do kind of believe that they will even out in some time through the COVID, we get some more staff on board. But we also can't ever lose sight. And I know that a lot of send the hate email. I know, but at the end of the day,
started with a mouse.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Disney is a corporation, and their job is to make the shareholders happy, and they have to also balance with making us happy. So I know that especially lately, the shareholders have been winning. But I really do believe that watching this company for the past 27 years, as I have, it's going to return to the other side. So I have that optimistic feel that the magic will return. It just may take a little time to get back where we were.
Oh, ending on a positive. Okay.
I mean, that's me.
Yeah, well,
Half full.
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Mickey Miles and More. I want to thank our special guest, Beci Mahnken from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. If you guys are having trouble navigating the Walt Disney World as it is today, Beci and her travel advisors do a wonderful job. I can tell you from firsthand experience that they've helped me make reservations. They've helped me figure my way around the parks. They've helped me with my hotel stay. They've improved every aspect of my trip, and I think they will do that for you and much more. So be sure to go to, mousefantravel.com for any more information. Tell them Chris sent you. And if you want to reach out to us with any of your ideas, please send a message on Twitter at Mickey Miles Pod. For Dr. Michelle Scribner-McLean, the Dean of Disney, Mike Scopa, Beci Mahnken, I'm Chris Eliopoulos, and we'll see you on the road and in the parks.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Mickey Miles and More podcast. For all of us here at the Mickey Miles and More podcast, this is Rick Gregg saying thanks for listening and all your support. And until next time, we'll see you on the road.
Rob Trope.